Hey everyone! Thanks for checking out another episode of Wonderful Garbage. I'm Angela, and that's Julia.
Hi.
And if it's your first time checking us out, thank you so much for listening. We are so excited to be podcasting today, talking some shit. A lot of things are going on. Bravo Real Housewives episodes this week were amazing. We have so much to cover. Should we just get right into it?
Get into it. Also, if you're watching on camera and you can see Bozzy down here, he lost his manhood this week. So, yeah. But
Oh, Bozzy. Yeah, Bozzy's wearing a cone. So if you see this like cone on Julia,
this
it's
is
her cute doggo.
RHOSLC. I also need to start remembering that, like, not everyone is watching with video. I was listening back to us on a couple things, and I'm like, obviously making faces, but
Yeah.
thinking, and I was like, okay, the people who aren't watching you don't know what you're doing. So,
Y'all, if you ever hear like a little pause between any of us, it's because we are making, some sort of face or emotion.
yeah.
We're having some sort of reaction to the tea that we're spilling and the things that we're talking. All right. We're going to go over just some pop culture stuff that happened this week, and then we're going to get into our Bravo news. So, Jessica Simpson announced that she has split from her husband Eric after 10 years together. She said they've been living separately for a while. There was some speculation about this towards the end of last year when she was seen out and about without her wedding ring. She's been posting that she's been working on new music in Nashville, so a like Jessica Simpson breakup album.
That sounds good to me.
I know. I can't wait. I mean, it sucks. End of a marriage, right?
Of course, I'm already on to the album.
We're like, just give us the music. But Jessica has just gone through so much, and we hope that she is doing good. And yeah, really excited for that music. Okay, also another big celebrity breakup. Maybe not big. I don't know. But it's old news, but I did want to mention it since we were talking about Jessica Simpson. Another Jessica has split with her husband, Jessica Alba, and her husband Cash. They are splitting after 16 years of marriage.
Wow.
Yeah. But she said that she's been on a journey of self realization and transformation for years. And she's proud of what she's built with her husband and what they've done together. But she is ready for a new chapter of growth and evolution. It's like, what's in the water? Because there have been so many breakups, so many divorces, women realizing
You don't say.
women realizing that they can just go out and do it.
Yeah.
Um it's just wild that like women couldn't get divorced until like 1969. So now it's like we have financial freedom or we're just done putting up with the BS. Like
Yeah.
it's
Also, we're slightly being warned that if you're not happy and you want a divorce, you should do it right now because we might be reversing back in time with some of our laws and what us women are allowed to do on our own. So there's
so enjoy this podcast until we no longer have freedom.
yep.
Uh um yeah, so love to both Jessicas out there. Okay, oh my goodness. I texted you this earlier. I was like, there is another It Ends With Us lawsuit.
So wild.
I
What's
think
happening?
it's the fourth one
Wow.
now. But Justin Baldoni is suing Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds and their publicist and PR firm for $400 million.
Whoa. For what is the
Alleging defamation and extortion, claiming that Blake was trying to take control of the movie. I did pull a quote that I thought, like, what are all these words? But here's what it says. He's suing on claims of civil extortion, defamation, false light invasion of privacy, breach of implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing, intentional interference with contractual relations, and it just goes on, and I'm like,
Wow.
what are all these words? It reminds me of like a college essay where like you're trying to hit your word limit and you're just like throwing everything in there that you can.
Yeah, and make it sound smart.
Yeah. It's just like, how long can this go on? You can't like realistically just keep suing each other for the rest of the. Maybe you can. I don't know.
Right. I'm kind of just wondering, like, so in the beginning, I was like, okay, how are they going to move forward with the second movie? And then I was like, well, there's no way they're going to, you know? But I have seen clips of them. They've already started filming.
Are you serious?
I saw a scene of them on someone like TikTok recorded. They were at a park and they were trying to film a scene of pushing the daughter in a swing. And apparently like they filmed it like 15 different times or something like that. And this is all kind of like speculation of someone just standing by and watching. But I mean they were watching them take multiple takes. And there were moments that like Justin and Blake would like convene to talk about how the scene should be filmed and that it just did not seem like they were on the same page at all. So,
Wow. How has this not come across my desk sooner? I haven't seen anything about it, but like, how are they doing it? There's like, because it seems like there's so much hate and animosity between them, and like,
yeah.
how are they? That's insane.
No. And that is the only that is now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like that is the only video or like any type of talk about filming of the second one happening. Um so now I'm kind of like that is kind of odd that we haven't seen any more about it, but it definitely was like it definitely would be them filming the second movie because the daughter is now in play. So, yeah, I don't know.
That's wild. Unless they did some daughter scenes like while they were filming It Ends With Us to then be able to like flash back into the new one. I don't know, but that's freaking crazy. Anyways, just another lawsuit. I think it's number 4 or 5. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. There'll probably be another one by the time we film next.
Oh my god.
Okay. I'm not really a bachelorette person.
Yeah.
You're really not either. I did get into the Golden Bachelor series and got bamboozled because love still didn't work out for them either. Well, I guess this last one it did, but I was scrolling through TikTok and then I was getting all these TikToks about Matt James and Rachel's split apparently. They've been together since 2020. Rachel like won the season, like that's the person that Matt wanted to be with. They didn't get engaged, but just decided to like continue to date. Matt posts this on his Instagram. Father God, give Rachel and I strength to mend our broken hearts. Give us peace about this decision to end our relationship that transcends worldly understanding. Shower our friends and family with kindness and love to comfort us, and remind us that our joy comes from you, Lord. All right. Prayers in a social media post.
You don't post all your prayers to Jesus on social media? How else is he going to say?
I talk to Jesus when I'm doing ayahuasca, Julia. Cringy. How cringy is that? No, I don't need that. So like people online, all like Bachelor Nation, because I was scrolling, I was reading comments, are freaking out. Some people are like, this had to be like a draft of something that like got posted accidentally, maybe. They were just seen together in London and were posting like 12 hours ago of like hanging out. Um, Rachel hasn't said anything as of yet, as of Thursday afternoon. Her last post was a birthday tribute to Matt, literally in December. But people online were like, that caption is giving like threat energy. It's like really intense. Like, why are you putting all this out there? Some people think it might have been an engagement trip and it fell through. Because he posted this also at like 6 in the morning.
Mm.
So people were like, that's kind of weird. And also, like, they're like social media personalities. You would think they would do a joint statement together.
PR was not included on that.
PR was not included on that. They did not come to London. So, and then of course, my For You page on TikTok is nothing but Matt and Rachel TikToks. And I'm like, what is happening?
That's so funny. Hannah was just talking about that on the latest Giggly
Giggly Squad, yeah.
about too, because okay, what happened for me, and she was saying, she was like, you know, you watching like one video about one thing, and then the next 50 videos are about that one thing. She's like, I don't need 50 videos about that. And mine, I've gotten suckered into this, you know, people who are like, please watch this video so that I can raise money for my dog or my sick mom or I'm sick, and like just all of these. And I'm like, what kind of person would I be if I just scrolled on past this, you know? So I have to sit there and watch the entire video, and then I go and comment on it, and like,
You're on emotionally manipulative TikTok, is what it sounds
I
like.
can't get off of it because you can't just scroll. And then recently though, I've just been like, okay, I have to change my algorithm. I only have a few days left with this app. I can't spend it all on saving all of these people's lives.
You're scrolling, you're like, I wish you well, get well soon, bye, I hope you're better. My TikTok for a bit was Bethany Frankel
Um,
and all her conspiracy TikToks, which I have like a, yeah, I have like a love up and down relationship with Bethany because, you know, she's a little something, but also gave us really great TV for so long. So, how can you not watch all of her conspiracy TikToks? So, Cameron Diaz, she's back.
yeah, that's, we love to see it.
You have some tea that you want to start with, though.
Okay, I mean, yeah, so I saw TikTok. I was like, I don't know if I want to be first or last, but so I saw a TikTok, and it was the girls from, they have a podcast called Allegedly, and so their clips come up on my For You page every now and then. So anyway, they were talking about celebrity relationships that you probably didn't know about, and one of them was Cameron Diaz, and do you want to guess who else?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
And they dated for 4 years. So the fact that like I forgot about this and these girls didn't know about this.
Ryan Reynolds.
P. Diddy.
What? Cameron Diaz and P. Diddy?
Yes, for like 4 years.
Wild. Yeah, my brain. I don't have that in my brain whatsoever.
When they said it, and like I saw a picture, like a little glimmer of like, I think I remember that popped into my head. But she went like not, that was bad. If you're watching, if you're listening, if the hand across the neck. That didn't happen to her. Obviously, she's still alive. But that is at the point after their breakup of when she kind of dipped out of Hollywood for a little bit, and that's common with some of P Diddy's other exes have done that before too. And now that P Diddy is locked up, she's coming back.
Oh my goodness, Julia. I'm so happy you added that because I literally had no idea. Julia, before we started recording, Julia was like, I have some tea about Cameron Diaz. I was like, oh my goodness, tell me. She goes, no, I'm saving it for the podcast. so you can hear with everyone else. So I was like, but oh my goodness, I'm so glad you did. You know what I'm doing exactly when I'm done with this? Is I'm gonna go search that and scroll all night about Cameron Diaz and P. Diddy. That's wild.
No. I'll find that video. I'll send it to you.
Please.
Yeah, so I found that very interesting.
I do too, but totally makes sense. Because, yeah, Cameron Diaz is back on the red carpet. She is in a movie with Jamie Foxx.
And didn't they? I'm pretty sure they dated at one point.
I
Don't
wouldn't be surprised anymore.
sure. I don't know. I'm starting.
We should just play a game one day when it's like, okay, guess who dated this person? We go through like everybody. Um, I mean, we love Cameron Diaz, The Mask, Charlie's Angels, like just iconic movies from our childhood and growing up. But I was reading one article that was like, Cameron Diaz makes incredible return to the red carpet. I was like, she wasn't like in a coma or anything. Like,
What does that?
she, she just like, she left Hollywood allegedly because she wanted to focus on her family and all these things, but maybe there was other things involved. And yeah, she just said, okay, fine, I'll come back and make some quick money, whatever. So I don't know, that title just made me laugh, like incredible return. Like, no, girl, she's just been chilling, living her best life with that, with the wine brand, being with Benji, whatever.
Oh yeah. How cute. They're
Which is also wild that like her and Nicole Richie are sister-in-laws.
yes, that is wild.
It's like very 2000s pop culture that like they each married a Madden brother.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I was doing the math.
Your picture I saw,
They are, but how? But I got it now.
right? Connecting the dots because you're like, what? And like they are like literally great together. I don't know. We don't know. They're out of the limelight. I'm making that shit up. Okay. Tom Fury. Tommy Fury.
Tommy and Molly May.
And
So
Molly May.
all of my news apparently comes from TikTok, which I really miss the days when our giggly girls were calling it the New York Times.
Yeah.
That I told my dad that, and I was like, I heard it on the New York Times, and he was like, the New York Times. I was like, yep, don't worry about it.
You're like, it's such a reputable source, like, and there's so many people that like so many views, like they're all agreeing. We're fine, Dad.
Exactly. So I saw a clip of Tommy doing an interview, and he was like, all the rumors were like, Tommy cheated. I cheated. I cheated. I did not cheat. That was not the problem. The problem was I had an issue with alcohol, and basically he was dealing with alcoholism, and that was it that he said in the clip, right?
Yeah.
I saw another clip, like preview about Molly May's show coming out, and like a little more in depth talking about how we will see them coming back together. So I think that we're gonna see the breakup, why they broke up, and probably him like healing, and maybe he went off to like rehab or something. And but yeah, we know that we've seen them, they've been spotted together since New Year's, and so I don't know, I hope that they can be happy. And you know, we don't we're sad that he struggles with alcohol issues. I don't want to go as far as calling it alcoholism because I don't think he called it that, so I'm not gonna get
Yeah.
title. But I am glad that it wasn't cheating, because alcohol issues can be worked on. He can go to rehab. He can choose to be sober. For Molly and their daughter, um, cheating is something that is done and can't be changed or fixed. And so, yeah, I hope that we're going to see them back together and like get married and live the happily ever after.
Yeah, it's like he just maybe needed that wake up call, and she was like, all right, like who knows? Now I'm like really ready for her documentary to come out.
I know, me too. Attitude.
Okay, Traitors. Y'all, a new episode drops tonight, so we
Oh,
don't
yeah.
have that, but we're gonna just like talk about our thoughts from the first 3 episodes. So much happened. We're just gonna go through who we love, who we don't love, a couple thoughts on it, because again, so much happened. So I of course love our Bravo celebrities -1.
Yeah.
Can guess who?
God,
I love the Bambi-eyed squad.
sorry.
Oh, go ahead. No, I'll redo it.
All I was gonna say was he had me yelling at the screen the entire every time he came on screen. I was like, "Why is he here?" Oh,
Why didn't they all agree to just eliminate him first to like get him off the show?
for real.
And I know people online are like, oh my goodness, let it go. He did one thing. Like, so many people cheat. I don't give a fuck.
No, it's honestly like it's not only about the cheating; it's who he is. Like he is annoying. He is has to be the center of attention of all things, and like when they won that first challenge and they got in there to get the
The shield.
field, and he went over to light the fire and he says like good work everyone and lights the fire. Like that's so Sandoval. He's always the one to lead the cheers and like I'm just so over him.
I hate that he was the one to light the fire. I was like, literally anybody else could have went and grabbed that. But I'm sure he stood around that little fire stick and was like, no, you guys will go get in. Don't worry about it. I'll sacrifice myself if we don't make it in. Anyways,
Mm-hmm.
the douche. But so I love our Bravo celebrities -1. I love the Bambi-eyed squad. I think that's what they called themselves. Chriselle, Gabby, and Nikki Bella.
Okay, cute. I don't know how
They,
many calling themselves that, but that is cute.
oh, they said because their eyes, like they all have big eyes.
I like it.
Dylan, Efron. I didn't know I could have room in my heart for another Efron brother, but I do.
For real. The internet's like, we made the wrong Efron famous. Those eyes. My gosh.
Just like everything about that man. Also like might be the new pilot Pete because he's clocking one traitor already. And so spoilers, right? Like Bob the drag queen's a traitor. Dylan is adamant that he is one. And I think in like the 3rd episode, uh Bob was like, I'm not. And Dylan was like, all right, I believe you. Like, sorry I came at you. But then we get a confessional with Dylan, and he's like, I know he's a traitor. He goes, but I'm going to take my time. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to let other people see it. He goes, and then when other people start questioning it, he goes, then I'm going to get it going. Yes. We love a man with a plan.
100%. It makes him even hotter.
Okay, I also love Tony because he just seems like a very sweet, like, Italian man. I don't know.
Yeah, he's the baldy.
Yes.
Yeah, he seems nice. Mm-hmm.
And Carolyn, she is the other traitor. I know, I like her.
Real?
She is all over the place, and her energy is wild. But I like her.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, who do you like?
Gabby's cute. So I saw Gabby, and we already touched that we're not like Bachelor Bachelorette people. So I was like, "Who's she? Who is she?" And then she said she was from the Bachelor Bachelorette, and I was like, I wouldn't know her from that because I haven't seen that. And I was like, but I know her face. And then I realized she is from TikTok. I got my nails done. Blur, 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 blur. I was like, oh my god, that's the blur nail girl. So, yeah. I mean, she's cute.
I love Gabby's TikToks. They are unhinged and fantastic.
Yes. I found out something about her after the election. That's
I know.
so. Yeah.
I know, conflicted energies, but if I had to choose, then I would just not like her anymore.
Yeah. So okay. So God, there's so many people. I'm like trying to think of who. Um I need like a cast picture in front of me to be able to do everyone. I don't know. We'll get back. Oh, Chanel Ayan, yeah, obsessed that she's in it. Um, I think she'll be good at the game. I like Chriselle.
Oh, so you haven't seen.
Haven't finished 3.
Okay.
So,
Well, I love that you love Chanel Ayan.
uh-oh.
I know, I hate that I'm doing this right now, but
Happens.
yeah.
Go home.
Yeah, it's so dumb, which is so annoying because it's like they
13.
murdered 2 housewives back to back. And Carolyn was trying to tell them, like, in their little Traitors meetup, like, we shouldn't just be doing another housewife.
No.
Carolyn wanted to send home Brittany, but Danielle and Brittany had beef. So Danielle was like, absolutely not. We're not going to kill her because then it's going to look bad on me. And then Bob the drag queen was like, we have to get rid of another housewife. I don't care what you say. End of story, period.
Wow.
And at this point, Boston Rob has joined them too, and he does a confessional, and he's just like, "I don't like this. I don't like this group." He's like, "There's just it's too much. It's like too many strong personalities, and you just like, why would you do 2 housewives back to back? It's so dumb."
That is dumb. All right. Well, they better bring more housewives in because what are we left with? Like 2 and Sierra?
Yeah, I still want them to bring Dorinda back. Like, if you can bring Kate Chastain back for 2 seasons, you can bring Dorinda back later on in the game. I don't see why.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, getting rid of Dorinda was like a very wrong move for the show in general. Like,
Yeah.
she would have been a great player because, as she already was doing, she was confusing people, and it was so good. But it was that's just her personality. I loved it.
We were robbed of some epic roundtable back and forths. Like, oh, I'm so mad. Okay, so this brings me to the things I don't love. Bob the drag queen and Danielle. I
Mhm.
think who are both traitors. Danielle is just too performative.
Yes,
Like she's trying to make it. Yes, the crying.
dude, it has to stop. And she started it at the first breakfast because
Mm-hmm.
Bob started crying. So she was like, "Oh, he's crying. I should cry." And Carolyn spotted it and was like, "Why isn't she crying? Like, y'all need to chill out." And then Danielle cried again at the round table, right? Like, and someone spotted that. I can't remember who. I
Oh,
think Chriselle said it in Watch What Happens last night.
yes, I
Yeah,
think so.
that she spotted the crying and was like, "This is a bit much." Oh, yes, it was in Watch What Happens because she said she was like, "I've been in soaps, so I can spot a fake cry," and yeah,
Yeah,
so
because even when Danielle was crying that second time, or yeah, the second breakfast, she was like, and I know Bob the drag queen is a faithful, like, absolutely, he's a faithful. And you're just like, well, now you're like extra performative. So I'm annoyed with them. There was this scene though in the car. It was Sierra, Dolores, and both Bobs. They were on the way to like that boat rowing game
hmm.
and they were talking about like, do you suspect anybody? And Sierra's like, no, like who do you guys think? And Bob Harper's like, well, do you guys think I'm a traitor? And they were like, no. And then Bob the drag queen's like, well, do you think I'm one? And Sierra's like, no, but like, I bet you would be good. And then he's like, yeah, I would be good. It's like,
Yeah.
ah! He's like, ah! Everyone is so trusting of him already right off the bat. I mean, we saw the same thing with Phaedra last year too. Everyone was so trusting of Phaedra, but Phaedra did it so much better than Bob's doing it now.
Phaedra became the mom of the house. Instantly, everyone just kind of felt like she can't do any harm. She's not gonna lie to us.
Phaedra and Castle Daddy CT. Oh my
Ooh,
goodness.
yes.
Okay, we also don't like Sweaty Sandoval.
Oh,
Rochelle made that comment last night on Watch What Happens Live. Girl.
yeah.
Okay, so Chriselle was on.
Went right past that. Andy was like, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
Okay, yeah. Andy was like,
In the castle, yeah.
yeah, it was at Haunted Castle. And she goes, well, no, it wasn't. He was drinking a lot of Coke and must have had a lot of sugar in his system.
Scandalous.
I mean, the shade.
Oh.
The shade.
And TikTok is bringing up the point that he must have been drinking a lot of Coke and have a lot of sugar in his system during that other show he did too. That survival show.
Oh, that Special Forces one.
Apparently sweaty there too. And wasn't that like in freezing degree temperatures like in Ireland or something crazy like that? Like
All I remember is him getting carried by
oh,
JoJo Siwa.
poor JoJo Siwa.
But poor JoJo Siwa, though.
Well, for that, yes. Anything else, no. But for that, yes.
Oh my goodness. We should get that picture framed. If we ever have a podcast studio, we're going to have a little picture of Tom Sandoval getting carried by JoJo Siwa.
I'm gonna crumple it up and throw it in the trash.
Why did they bring in 3 new people in the second episode?
Yes. All guys, all from game shows. Like, that was intense. And
There's
there's
no point.
people. Like, why?
They're still trying to figure themselves out as a group. There's so many of them already. No one really knows how to play the game yet because it's too early. Like, you're just getting to know everybody.
Right.
Throw in these people mid-game when alliances are formed.
Yeah, it was odd.
Also, I just don't like the housewives hate. Like, I feel like, again, Bob the drag queen and Danielle are threatened by their greatness. And it's like a Phaedra effect. Like, Phaedra was so great at it. I think Bob wants like all the attention. He wants like the shady moments, and so he's trying to get them all out, and it's really annoying. Um, the games were okay. I feel like that's always like a downfall of this show is that the games are just weird.
Yeah. So I guess so far I've only watched one game, was like the boat one. And getting out, and yeah, that was frustrating.
I guess it just like created division. Was
Did
really all it really did,
yeah.
which I guess is good. But then they play this like clown game where they have to like there's like 4 rows of doors that they have to go through, but there's only one correct door that you have to choose, and they all kind of have to work together, but they're in pairs. So like one pair would go to the first row. All the doors had like different colors, different patterns. So if you get 3 of the doors wrong, you're trying to tell the other people, like, don't choose the orange and yellow door or whatever. But no one knew how to describe it.
Oh wow.
They sucked at it. Like, it was, I think Sierra and, was it Sierra and Bob? Harper might have been together at the end. I don't remember. It was definitely Sierra. And maybe Wes. I don't remember. It was Sierra and West because I was like, isn't that funny? Sierra and West, and then Sierra and West.
That's funny.
They made it to the 4th one, but then they lost at the end. But so the games are okay. I just think there's a flaw in like I don't think they should murder anyone or send anyone home until like the 3rd or 4th episode
Yeah.
because you're just kind of like you don't like no one has a strategy yet. You're just kind of hearsay of like you looked weird. Oh yeah, he did look weird. Go home. You know?
Yes, I totally agree.
But Tony has come out and he was like, I just feel like there needs to be some sort of punishment if you send home a faithful. Like whoever voted for the faithful to go home should be up for murder
Mm.
next.
That's a good thought.
Because there's no punishment. Like, you're just putting people's names out there, and then you're like, okay, wrong again, you know?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm interested. Also, Boston Rob back in the day, I like got on the scrolling thing of him back in Survivor.
Be hot?
So hot.
Really? I can kind of see that.
He's been rocking the backwards cap since then, though. Like, he could probably get rid of it now. I think
Yeah.
that was like his signature thing. But he married someone else that he was on Survivor with. They have 3 kids. They've been married forever, but homie could get it. um, I think it's fun. I don't know. I think Dylan Efron might have a target on his back, especially if he keeps coming after Bob, but I think he's going to be strategic. And then the end of episode 3, you need to watch it.
Okay.
They're setting it up that like Gabby might be catching the traitors talking.
Ooh.
They all had to meet in the castle, go to like this secret spot, like a secret bookcase, in that same room of the infamous MJ picture from last year, where she's just kind of standing there, like, and the traitors are talking, and she's just same room, same type of vibe. They are in a secret bookcase. They're talking and they're loud.
Ooh.
Everyone else in the castle's kind of like, is something going on? Like, Carolyn was walking all over the place trying to find them. It looked shady. It looked like things were going on. Gabby's like, I'm gonna go get some water. She goes into that room and they're setting it up like she can hear them. And then the door opens and then Gabby's like kind of peeking in the room and you're like,
So we'll see that on 4.
yeah, it's gonna be tonight.
Ooh. I'll watch tonight for sure. One thing that I have seen that I wanted to ask you, like, I don't know if I just haven't gotten to it yet, but I've seen a clip of like Wells and Dorinda finding out who the traitors are. So is that in the show or is that like a after show type of a thing?
Yeah, they do these like post-mortems. And so yeah, they had Dorinda and Wells, and then they have new ones with the 2 new people who got off the show. I won't let you know the second person because I already spoiled Ions for you. But yeah, they're asking them their experience and then they tell them who the traitors are.
Okay. Did they do that last season?
I think they did. I think the post-mortem had, I don't think they did it the first season, but I think they did it last year too.
I don't remember it, but that's not saying much, so.
Literally, I was like, who was even on last year? I had to like, other than like our housewife people, I had to go back and remember. Yeah, Dorinda was like, well, they were obviously scared of me to let me go first, so I'll take it as a compliment.
Right?
Okay, we have to get into the Salt Lake City finale. It's the only Bravo show we're going to recap in this episode because it is such a big episode. We have so many thoughts on it. There's so many quotes we want to give y'all from it. So we're just going to do Salt Lake City in this one, and we'll recap everything else that we watched on Sunday.
Yeah, and we also watched Watch What Happens Live. Lisa was on it right after the finale, and then I also watched the after shows. So we have a lot of Salt Lake content for y'all today.
The finale opens with a Heather monologue, which I'm kind of over.
Yeah, for sure. Like she is like the head honcho of the group. She's constantly, and we see it in this episode too, her giving her speeches and just like running this group, and everything is like an inspirational speech from her. It's like, can you get real for a second?
Yeah, let us know what happened to that black eye on the trip, Heather.
For real.
I don't know why they're letting her do this when, like, she was so shady about that and blamed it on production. If she blamed it on production, why are they giving her so much leeway? I don't understand.
That's very true. That's a good point.
Right? Thank you so much. Do you think of Jennifer Padronti every time you hear,
Yeah.
thank you so much? Well, I think about...
Yeah. Happens, guys. How they're always Thank you so much. Anything Jen ever says, it always starts with, thank you so much.
That's all I think about. Okay, Heather's monologue. Also, I love that they kept in the clip of her wearing that really nice top and then camo leggings. So maybe there is a little shade by the producers because that was really funny.
Funny.
But it starts with like we choose to put our lives out there, our lives are on display, we're open to criticism and judgment. But what happens when the friends you turn to for support turn on you too? Dun dun dun.
We're good.
We're so in sync. We get a scene of Meredith with this furry eye mask that is just on one of her eyes. Girl, it looks a mess. She needs to go home. She apparently scratched her cornea last night.
Which, like, how does that happen? And, like, Meredith does not travel well. Oh my god, it just made me think of Kristen. How she used to always be a hot mess when they would travel and get in fights with everyone. And Stassi was like, I'm just not going to travel with you anymore. Yeah, Meredith is always just, like, breaking down when they travel.
They have a Lisa Barlow themed lunch, which, like, I get it. You want to thank Lisa for this trip, but two of the girls on this cast, maybe even three, like, really don't like Lisa. So I would be annoyed if someone was like, hey, dress up like her.
Right. And she should have known that, like, this is going to start some drama, but maybe she did know and she wanted that. So,
Heather's like, Lisa hates a theme, but I figured there was one she wouldn't hate because it's about herself because she's so self involved.
yeah.
I added that last part. Heather really didn't say that because she's Lisa's ass. But they're all like in black wigs and big sunglasses. A couple of them are on their phones taking selfies. Lisa walks in and sees them. She is absolutely speechless. She's like, the girls have never looked better. Even Whitney wearing her 3-year-old Tom Ford.
The shade constantly. Oh, yeah. So then they go to lunch and Lisa walks up. She has, I have a reservation for 8 Lisas.
And they're like, 8 Lisas. And the hostess is like, what is happening?
Yes.
We see the back of Whitney's clothes, and she still has the tags on her clothes, which I freaking love it. They're ordering mimosas, they're cheersing. Lisa's again like, this is the only theme I love. While they're ordering, they're all like, yeah, I love it. Should we get this? Yeah, I love that.
Like 20 times I love that was said. I'm pretty sure that the producers just like took one clip and just kept replaying it and replaying it and replaying it. But yeah, that was a lot of
I hope so, because that server was just like,
know.
what are we doing here? You guys said I was gonna be on camera, but like this is it?
Yeah.
So then they're doing impersonations of Lisa, and Bronwyn is like, oh, you caught me taking the 20th selfie of the day. I have my Tom Ford, my Bottega, like it's really exclusive. I got it off the runway. I know you didn't go, but I did.
Angie says, oh, Mary, I heard you got a Range Rover. I could have gotten a Range Rover, but I got a G-Wagon instead.
Whitney's like, I just love my $80,000 rings. I have 20 of them. And then Whitney, so she's like standing up. They're all standing up doing their impressions. And Whitney turns around and walks away. And Lisa's like, your tags are still on your clothes. And Whitney's like, yeah, because I have to return the clothes after the trip. And Lisa is pissed. Whitney's like, I would rather die than be Lisa for a day. But I'm gonna lean into it and be the fakest, phoniest, cattiest, materialistic bitch I can be.
Yikes.
But so true. All of the impressions that were done of Lisa were materialistic things. Nothing about her family, nothing about her friendships, all about how self-involved she is.
Yeah, that's Lisa. And she's like, I was all about it until I saw the tags. and then we just go into a huge fight between those two.
They're calling each other fake. Lisa's like, that's not even close to who I am. Like, your gut is off. Go take a probiotic.
Yes, that line. Oh my god.
Take that wig off your head. Don't be me because you'll never be me.
Snatch off of her head.
Oh, that's right. She tried to snatch it. Oof.
I was wild. Calm down.
Don't cross. Oh, like once you cross over the table.
Yeah. No, it got so heated so fast, and then they like show the people in the restaurant. So I had seen like a meme picture of that dad holding the. I think you post it?
I posted one, yeah.
I saw that before I finished the rest of the episode. Or no, yeah, I had started the episode late yesterday, so I didn't see the beginning. So I saw that clip before I saw that episode. I was like, where's this from? And then I saw it and I was like, oh my god, they're screaming the F word, every other word in this restaurant with all these families on vacation. Like, that's wild.
Like they're at a resort and this child just has her ears covered, but the dad is still sitting there. The dad's like,
He looked
I'm gonna stay for this.
he looked amused for sure.
He's like, we're just gonna sit here, we're gonna chill, kid, I'm gonna cover your ears and just like play on this phone. It reminded me of the Amsterdam trip on Beverly Hills with like Lisa and Kim. Because it got so heated so fast. They're yelling across the table. Like it was wild. Lisa's like, you've lied about me, my marriage, everything I care about. Wendy's like, you've done the same thing to me. You've talked about all these things. And Lisa's like, well, go get your proof. And then I'm going to sue the F out of you. And I'm going to take your new house. I'm not a Lisa Barlow fan, but God, she makes good housewife TV.
Yes.
I am more of a Whitney fan than a Lisa fan.
Yeah.
But Whitney also has her moments, but she also makes really good TV.
Yeah. I mean, I would say all of Salt Lake right now. Honestly, I could do without Meredith, but everyone else is really giving.
Yeah, 100%. Brittany's like, Lisa's been good to me. She's been loyal. Girl, you've been here 5 minutes. Stop. Lisa doesn't care about you. Lisa probably doesn't even know your name. Lisa probably forgot you were sitting at this table. Don't try to stick up for Lisa and just get some more screen time. And Mary's like, oh, I don't know why you're chiming in. Like, you recorded us the other day. Like, no one trusts you. Like, why are you here? Everyone forgot that you did that once they got tipsy, but I did it. And Brittany's like, everyone does the same thing. You were recording too. She was like, you guys have been tortured. Which, like, what? If Mary
recording out the window, which, like, okay, that makes sense. Recording the scenery. Recording the back of a seat in a bus does not make any sense.
Exactly. Two different things, Brittany. But Brittany ends up getting really upset that everyone's just been ganging up on her. Meredith goes in on her too. She gets up from the table, and then Angie, Heather, and Lisa go after her. And Mary does not like that because Mary doesn't like Brittany. Brittany doesn't like Mary. And Mary feels so betrayed. And we see it later that Angie went off to check in on Brittany instead of staying with her.
Yeah.
We get a little scene of them doing like a ceviche making and horseback riding. Bronwyn and Meredith's horses are just like all over the place because like I'm like, don't horses feel your energy? And if you're not calm,
exactly. Yup.
That's a little telling there. Okay, Julie and I were both watching this last night, but at different times of like the episode. So we were texting each other as we were watching, and it's like 15 minutes in the episode, and they're already going to dinner.
I know.
I was like, no way. Like, there has to be more that happens after the dinner, but...
So, before dinner, so I did get to... I haven't gotten to finish all of the uncut or the extended version, but I watched up to dinner. And I was driving while I was watching the road, but listening to my vibe.
She's a multitasker.
Don't come for me. So I wasn't able to take notes during it. But one thing that did stand out to me, while they were horseback riding, Mary, they got off the horses, which I don't think we saw that, and they went
No.
to the water, and they were walking in the water a little bit, and they were like, "Oh, the water feels so good." And Mary told all the girls, she was mainly talking to Lisa, but then of course everyone was like around, that she was done with Angie. She said, "I am done with Angie." And she was like, the way that she went off after Brittany, she knows I don't like Brittany. She knows Brittany doesn't like me. And I don't like that she did that. And they were kind of like, well, can't you like talk to her or something? And she's like, no, I'm done with her. So we didn't get to see that on Bravo, but so we know that she was working her way there, instead of just all of a sudden at dinner, her just being completely cold to her. And they're sharing a room, weren't they? Or no, no one was sharing a room.
No, yeah. So man, she was festering on that all day long, and then but that scene with them at dinner, I
Oh
mean,
my gosh. Yeah.
just beautiful. Okay, so yeah, literally the rest of the episode is dinner. And Julia was ahead of me a little bit. She would text me and be like, ah, or like, OMG. I was like, girl, I am not there yet. I was like, but I am sure once I get there, I will know like what you're talking about. So then I was texting her
I
about
was careful not to give any spoilers because I knew I was ahead of you, but I had to be like, oh my god.
Okay. It's
Heather just had them do something that no housewife has ever done before. Like, that thought to do that game was insane.
I wasn't mad at it. I was like, okay, let's go. Let's get everything out on the
Yeah, but
table.
it's not actually going to be everything. Are you kidding me? We're on year what? How many seasons is this now? I can't remember. 5? So
5.
we're on year 5 of these girls talking shit about each other. Like, that could be like a whole entire season of them going through their phones about the shit they've talked about.
I mean, that's true because I also want to know how long it took for them to find
Yes,
stuff.
and they all had screenshots, so I kind of feel like this was talked about, planned.
Planned.
Yeah. Like, I think they had talked about it before they went to dinner or something. And Heather was like, I think we should do this so y'all go through your text messages and find what you want to share. Which, like,
That would really bother me because it's like you want that authenticity and not overly produced stuff like we're seeing on Real Housewives of New York all the
yeah.
time. Um, but I guess realistically, yeah.
I don't feel like that is comparable to like the New York overproducing. I feel like, yeah, they all knew about it going in, but they didn't know who was going to say what about who. So there was
That's
they
true.
still had these genuine reactions. I kind of don't know how they went into dinner so calmly, knowing if they knew that they were about to do that, I'd be sweating bullets and like tequila shot after tequila shot after tequila shot. So I don't.
I would be going into the dinner crying because I hate confrontation.
Yeah.
So they're ordering. Angie gets a pizza and she asks Mary if she wants a slice. Mary ignores her and Angie's like, why are you ignoring me? And she's upset about Angie checking in on Brittany. And they just have this heart to heart moment at the table. And Mary continues to get really vulnerable with us. So does Angie. Angie's like, I have spent months trying to gain your confidence and like really trying to build this genuine friendship with you. And Mary's like, well, I didn't ask you to do that. It's like, oh, that's like not what you want to hear. So yeah, they're going back and forth. Mary's like, I was wrong about you. I thought I knew you. And Angie is so
Dude,
hurt.
Mary got cold fast. That
Yeah.
was, yeah, she was just a diamond. Like, she was, I'm done. That was,
Uh-huh.
sad. But yeah, it got very heartfelt and deep, and they reconnected.
Yeah, she's like, I'm big on loyalty. And we learned that, like, it brought up abandonment issues that Mary had as a kid. Her dad left when she was like 6 years old, told her mom that he didn't like Mary. And then Mary and her mom were really close for a long time, and now they're not. And finding Angie and building this friendship, and then to see her just go check on somebody brought up those feelings, which, like, I think Angie should be able to go check on somebody, but like understand. I don't know, like Angie should still be able
I
to do
agree.
that.
I feel like, yeah, that was um a bit of a stretch for Mary to just be done after, yeah, Angie just going to check on someone who walked away crying. You
Yeah.
um
She should know that, like, Angie's a good enough person to go check on somebody regardless, just because that's like the nice thing to do. And then Angie's like, well, I have abandonment issues too. Like, my mom passed away when I was a kid. Like, I have so much. So, like, they were both able to bond about that. But
I mean, I think in the end it probably brought them closer.
oh, 100%, because then Mary was ready to like jump in for Angie at the end. Like, Mary was like, how dare you, Lisa? We get to hear Meredith say Alibaba one more time before the season finale. Before the season was over, I was like, yay, Alibaba. They bring up the whole jewelry thing, like, why were you accusing Lisa? Whitney's like, I had evidence from that podcaster. And Lisa's like, I know that podcaster. He told me a different story. And Whitney's like, no, like, he said it was you. And Lisa's like, I don't feed things to the blogs. Whitney's like, well, we know that you fed things to Reality Von Teese.
Oh yes. And they, how does she know
like,
that? And she says, I reached out to Monica. And everyone is like in shock, but Heather especially is like, you did what?
And Whitney's like, yeah, Monica said that she had proof that Lisa sends info to press outlets. And I reached out because you guys kept calling me a liar. And I wanted to have evidence and proof. And like, Meredith and Lisa kept going at me, so whatever. And Mary's like, yeah, well, like, you guys aren't the friendliest. And then you gang up on people and you make them do these things. But Heather's like, it's not okay. Like, we just keep going at each other. And this is where the game comes into play. She's like, look, everyone talks about us online. We know that. Like, we get scrutinized daily. But what we should have here is a sisterhood. You're like, no, I don't want a sisterhood. I want you guys to keep fighting. So Heather's like, let's all take out our phones and find the worst thing that you've said about somebody here on this cast and show it to them. So again, it's like you said, there's screenshots, so that must have been planned before, because I was like, are they searching keywords? Are they searching like by name? Like, how would you find it so quickly? But also very Mean Girls-esque. I saw a couple of memes today of the Mean Girls scene where they're at the gym, in the gym at the school, and they're all reading stuff about each
Well,
other.
even Heather was like, Monica, she had a burn book. And we don't have actual burn books, but we do in our phones. And it's just like, oh.
Okay, we're gonna read what these women said, because there's no point in paraphrasing. If you haven't watched it, please keep listening. If you've watched it, get ready to relive it again. This shit was gnarly.
Yes, it really was.
Okay, so Mary goes first, and hers is about Heather.
Giving the phone to the person.
So Mary gives the phone to Heather. Heather's reading. Never felt accepted by Heather from day one or included in the group. Changed when she became successful. Thinks all the fame went to her head. Then she started to get aggressive. She took all the things that she accomplished and threw them in our faces. Instead of being grateful for the blessings, it changed her to be competitive and super mean, all while enjoying the feeling of fame. Heather has forgotten the people who have helped to get her where she is and who are truly happy and proud of her, like me. I always am and will be.
Aww.
Like, written so
Yeah.
nice.
Also, like, I don't know why this feels like to me like Mary has notes on all the girls. Like, this feels like a note in her phone, not like a text message to someone. It just feels like, all right, gotta make a note about Heather.
She was
Yes,
journaling.
pretty much.
And Heather's like, I understand, but it's unfair. Like, I've lost a lot of things in gaining my independence and success. Like, I had a divorce a long time ago, the Mormon church, all these things, like loss of family. But that she's really happy and like confident where she's at. Meh.
So Brittany has Mary, and she goes to phone. I love Mary. And Mary reads it and said, and so Brittany wrote about Mary. I would like to invite Bronwyn over for tea instead of Mary tomorrow. And Mary, oh, and that's it. And that's it. That's all she wrote. And someone says, like, so I think Heather was like, that's the meanest thing you have about someone in your phone? Like, everyone's like, huh? That was so odd. And Mary just looks at her and it's like, she makes a face and she's just like, okay. Like, that was odd. But true Britney fashion. This was brought up on the after show. And and she was sticking to it. And she was like, like she still felt bad about that being the thing that she said. And Lisa was like, man, if that's the meanest thing you said, like, you're a saint.
I still don't believe it. I think she has a journal somewhere or things somewhere else, but whatever. Okay. Bronwyn gives her phone to Brittany, and Bronwyn has written about Brittany. I think she's emotionally manipulative, parentifies her children, and trauma bonds in relationships, and is doing that to us. It's below her intelligence level, age, and maturity level, and she makes me feel nervous, furious, and embarrassed for her.
Yeah.
You know that cut Brittany deep because she has like a lot of insecurity issues, as we all do. But like, I think Brittany projects a lot of those insecurities and issues that she has onto everyone else.
He's an odd duck. I'm so excited I got this one. this one was bad. This was like, oof. So Angie wrote about Bronwyn. Angie says that she made this comment in an emotional state. Most of them did kind of like before they handed the phone over, they were like, I was in a heightened state of emotions and I will say, like, I think everyone, for the most part, well, until it all fell apart, handled this very maturely. And they did handle it like, this is a game that we're playing, and, like, we're going into it. It's like playing that slapping game. Like, we're going to slap the shit out of each other, and we're going to walk away still friends because we've decided that we're going to slap the shit out of each other. So Angie gives Bronwyn a good old slap and says, Bronwyn seems nice. Oh my God. I like her business plan of marrying a man with one foot in the grave and one on a banana peel. But I like mine better. I'd rather be self-made. She is nice, but doesn't listen because her ears are stitched down to her face so tight she can't hear anything. Oh, she wears a hot dog outfit to remind us she sucked her way to the top.
I mean,
Yikes.
I loved it.
That Greek girl can really serve. Dang.
Oh, I mean, just wow. Yeah. Angie apologizes and is like, look, this is how I felt in the moment. I think you're beautiful. And Bronwyn's like, no, like, you said it in a moment. You felt that way. I acknowledge that. Like, you do you. Oh, Bronwyn is like starting to read it and she starts to cry already. And then Angie goes, oh, she's already crying. She got like a couple words in and already had started crying. Angie was like, damn.
I mean, it's like her business plan of marrying a man with one foot in the grave. I mean, damn.
The hot dog one. I mean, that's some creativity. She dresses in the hot dog costume because she sucked her way to the top. You can't write that shit, y'all. Give these girls a creative Emmy, unscripted reality TV, even though the scene might have been planned, whatever.
It's even if it was planned, it still does not seem fake or like produced or anything to me. Like, this is still raw shit happening.
No, you're so right. You're so right. Okay. Whitney gives her phone to Heather, which is also interesting of like how they chose the person. Because like what if everyone had something to say about Heather and then they had to go scroll and like find something else. So that part seemed planned, right? Because like what if I also had something bad to say about Mary or whatever, and like would we do two people against Mary? So like was Heather like, I'm gonna assign you everyone.
Maybe they had to draw a name out of a hat. Like White Elephant.
I fucking love that. Okay. Heather gives her phone to Whitney. Heather said, Whitney is a low-life, thirsty piece of shit. She sold her soul for fame and recognition. She's a snake, and I shouldn't have trusted her. I've been so stupid and loyal carrying her Wild Rose products, even though we never sold a fucking one.
Dude, it's so bad.
But cleansing.
I guess.
Also, I could never do this, so like any of my friends who are listening, please don't ever do this to me. I will literally cry and like you'll never see me again. But I love this for that.
Like, I would never just be like, okay, let's move on. No. What? You called me a low-life piece of shit? What? My cousin? Like, dude, no.
Heather's like, I didn't mean it. I said it out of hurt and rage. I'm sorry. Like, I love you always. And like, we're going to be good. We now know we're putting it aside and we're fine now, which is exactly how this all should
And
go.
they did their little, like, they have, like, a handshake thing that they did to each other for them to be able to move on. And I'm on the good side of this list.
You literally did.
The heat of the night, we have Whitney to Lisa. And so Whitney wrote this text to Angie after hearing a rumor. And she just thinks that this was the worst thing that she had said and she wanted to clear the air. And Justin was at a party and a woman approached. So I think here she says that a woman approached them, like that they were together. But in the show, she talks about it and she said that a woman told Justin and then Justin told Whitney. The woman approached Justin asking if we ever wanted to be a third, that she's their girl. This woman who approached Justin, which that's a problem in of itself. And again, I'll speak about in after show. Oh, this is what she said in the text message.
She'd said, if you want to bring in a third, she's their girl. In fact, Lisa and John can vouch for her because she made out with Lisa while jerking off John.
Because she made out with Lisa while jerking off John. Lisa says, what the fuck is that? Throws the phone on the table. Whitney is just like, I just didn't believe it. And it just goes into this chaotic night.
So many people online are like, seriously, Whitney, that's the thing that you're going to put out about? Like, you probably have so many other things that you've talked about Lisa but you're gonna bring up this rumor about her marriage to get back at her for everything she's done to you. Like, shady boots, y'all. Whitney's like, but I don't believe it. I don't believe it. It's just the worst thing I've ever typed, and I wanted to put it out there so I can clear the air. Lisa's like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you. She put like the flower vase in front of her face, and Lisa decides to use an analogy, not to Whitney, but to her friend Angie. And I don't know if she did this because of the rumors about Sean last year or because Whitney had texted this to Angie. But Lisa was like,
Sorry.
yeah, so
I will say, now that it's on my mind, because I'll forget about it later, but that was spoken about in After Show. Lisa says that she used Angie because last season when they were having that dinner in the grotto and everyone thought that Meredith was the one leaking the rumors, and Lisa yelled at Meredith standing up for Angie. And so she's like, I stood up for Angie at one point, and this would have been Angie's time to like stand up for me, and she wasn't. And so I then made that analogy.
Jeez. But yeah, Whitney's trying to apologize. Lisa is pissed. She's like, you don't mean it. You're dirty as fuck, and I'm sick of it. Like, and Heather's like, but this was the game. Like, this was the game. Like, don't get mad at her. She's not just doing this on a whim. Like, and Lisa's like, yeah, you told her to do this, but you took it to another level. She did this one too many times. Like, you're so fucked up. Whitney is now yelling at Lisa back, like, shut the fuck up and listen to me. And Lisa's like, I'm not listening to you. And then Angie's like, look, nobody believes it. Then Lisa is like, well, I heard that Sean does circle jerks. How does that feel? And if you have not watched this show, have no idea what we're talking about, but still listening, thank you so much. But Sean is Angie's husband. So now Lisa is going at Angie. Julia just said because she thought Angie would stick up for her. And yeah, decides to decides to use an analogy against Angie's husband. Angie is
yeah. Angie stands up, throws flowers at her. Production was there quicker than I've ever seen production be there. They were like, nope, not this Greek woman. Nope.
The fourth wall moments that happened, there's another one. So yeah, production goes and gets Angie. And she's like, why would you say that? Why would you bring me into it? And Lisa's like, I'm hurt. She started the whole thing. And Meredith's now activated. She's awake. She's like, nothing's okay about this. And Lisa is not understanding that it was a game. Like, she just sees red. It totally reminds me of Teresa Giudice from The Real Housewives of New York. Like, you talk about family or a husband, I don't give a shit. Lisa gets up, walks off. She's like, take my mic off, I'm leaving. And we see all of the camera crew and production just sitting there filming. We get this really interesting... Okay, so that's the end of the shared text messages that we saw on the Bravo episode. But on Watch What Happens last night, Lisa said Lisa also shared a text, and so did Meredith. But we didn't see those, and I haven't watched the extended cut, and I know you didn't get to the end, so I'm hoping that they show their text messages, or like what theirs were, because it's weird that they would
it is. Them out. I bet it is an extended. Maybe. We'll see.
And I'm gonna watch it for sure, and then we'll talk about it on Sunday when we record again. But we get this confessional from Bronwyn, and she's like, Lisa is repulsive. She's acting like John is better than the rest of the guys. She's upset that her marriage is being talked about, but went and did the same thing to Angie like it was nothing. Because in the midst of Lisa yelling, Lisa's like, John's a stand-up guy. He's the best guy ever. As if like, oh, I'm going to go talk shit about you guys, your husbands, your marriages, but the minute you come to mine, like, Lisa, you're not holier than thou. Bronwyn was like, everyone's true colors are coming out tonight. Like, the people who want to have friends, you know. The people who want to own their shit, you're seeing it. And then the people who are surface fucking narcissists,
Yikes.
You're seeing it. Heather's like, as Lisa's walking away, because they're like intertwining all this stuff. They're going to confessionals, Lisa, confessionals, Lisa. Heather's like, Lisa, don't go. Like, we have to wrap up the dinner.
And then we start just like randomly getting people's end of season titles posted up in all of that too. I was like, okay, wham, bam, bam. Like, that was a lot.
Yeah, Meredith walks off too. I'm like, did Heather just have another closing monologue that she wants to give? Why does she think this dinner is salvageable? No. It's not. Watch What Happens Live last night.
She was so annoying.
She was so annoying last night. I don't know if she was nervous. The energy was weird with her. She thinks that Whitney was projecting, leaving the tags on her clothes. She's like, I'm sure you can find Whitney's at a consignment shop. I would love that. I would love to find Housewives clothing at a consignment store. Lisa couldn't say what text she shared, and she didn't remember what Meredith shared, which I thought was weird. She probably just was told not to say anything because I'm assuming there's like that extended version or whatever. But there were a couple polls from last night. They asked if Heather's exercise was a good idea. 75% of people said no.
These texts go too far, and 65% people said no.
Will Whitney and Lisa make amends? 96%.
Oh yeah,
said
with the did Whitney's text go too far? And then no. Lisa goes, they always vote against me.
Lisa's the victim. Lisa also could not stop touching her hair, and I do this too in the show just because like it's on my neck and I get like hot. Yeah. But Lisa was just hands in, and I was like, ooh, she's really working that Kerastase partnership that she stole from Brittany because she is nonstop touching.
Well, that gets brought up. Andy was like, you keep touching your hair, and she's like, well, it's because it's so soft and shiny. And then he felt her hair, and he was like, that is soft and shiny. And he was like, is that Kerastase? And she's like, yeah. And she was like, I need to go over and teach Brittany how to use it. Just shade.
Well, because Brittany did do a video. I don't know if you saw it. She put it in her hair dry, and it got all clumpy, and it was like, no, that's not right. Lisa shares her thoughts about each housewife. She said Whitney lies a lot and Bronwyn is two-faced.
With Meredith, she had nothing bad to say. She said, I love her jewelry. She's a great friend. She said Mary brought vulnerability and she participated this year, which it reminded me of last season while she was just, remember when they went to play like that field day activity and she just sat in the bus the whole time and then asked them to take her to McDonald's?
Oh, Mary. When Lisa was asked about Angie, she paused for a really long time and was like, we're working on our friendship. She said Brittany is just singing her way through life and she should be on Wicked.
And then Heather, she said that they've worked hard on their friendship and I don't think she should ever play games with us again. I thought it was pretty funny. They asked Lisa why she went for Angie, and she said that she was just using an analogy, and Andy told her, just a word for the wise, analogies on Housewives never work.
Y'all, that episode was freaking amazing. I mean, like every episode this season gave us something.
It was so good. But let me touch on the after show because there were some good things that came from that. I'm new to watching the after shows, but I don't know why I waited so long because like we get really good tea. It's almost like getting a mini reunion after every episode. Like really great.
They're so good.
So we have Heather and Meredith together. Lisa and Brittany are together. They put on the screen, it says, does Lisa really return her clothes after wearing them? So Lisa goes on this huge rant about, yes, and Lisa and Brittany are together. And Lisa is just Lisa-ing, saying how Whitney's so obsessed with her, and Lisa gets boxes and boxes of Gucci and all these designer clothes sent to her house all the time, and that Whitney doesn't know anything about that because she recycles her clothes. And poor Brittany is just sitting there like awkwardly giggling, and it's just Lisa's just, yeah, such a narcissist. So Whitney says she has a really good friend who works at Nordstrom. And I gotta give Whitney props on this. She actually said Nordstrom. Most people say Nordstrom's. Proud of Whitney for saying it correctly. So anyway, so she has a friend who works at Nordstrom and says that she returns her worn clothing often, and that Lisa has a really rich friend in the community, and it's been rumored that she borrows her friend's stuff and acts like it's hers. Everyone else is like, we don't believe that she returns her clothes, and we've never seen tags on her clothes. And then Bronwyn comes in and she says, so Bronwyn and Whitney were together. So Bronwyn says, to lighten this for Lisa, can I say something? Brittany does actually return her clothes, and I've caught her doing it after she wears them, and it's not because the tags were on them. It's because I saw her wearing them, and then I saw them at the Nordstrom fashion place, which I've never heard of the Nordstrom fashion place, so I don't know what that was, but she said, which obviously does not carry Balenciaga and Alex Perry cheated jumpsuits and exact outfits that Brittany wears in her exact sizes 2 days after she wore them. So don't worry, Lisa. You just appear to be returning your clothes. But Brittany, she dead ass is.
Dead ass is. Yeah, weird. Like, how does she know that those are Britney's specific clothes? But I'm here for the shade.
The next little like on-screen thing we see, it says Lisa Barlow to Whitney Rose, quote, "You are so far beneath me." And Lisa does end up saying that. She says, I am not your friend. You are not on my level. You are so far beneath me that, like, you can't even see where she is. It's so far down. Never be able to climb her way up to be Lisa Barlow. She should never wear a wig. She should never pretend to be me because you can't be me and you never will. Good luck with your Alibaba shit and your marriage, because if that's what you need, don't talk about mine.
Wow.
Lisa also said, you want to talk about projecting? Should we talk about you and what Justin does when he goes to parties? Because my husband would never go to the parties that you and your friends go to. And my friends are like classy people you would die to hang out with. But I find that interesting because we know that Justin was approached about having a third in their relationship at a party. So that kind of making that a reputable statement from Lisa. Whitney touched on the fact that there are worse things that she has said about Lisa, but she chose this because she thought it was just so heinous and laughable that it wasn't going to be such a big deal as it was.
AKA, she wanted to put the rumor out there.
Okay, so then the next thing we see on screen is where do the Salt Lake City ladies stand going into the reunion? So Bronwyn, she said a lot, but basically she said, there's some people I will always expect to have a very surface friendship with based on how they handled that discussion at the last dinner. Lisa, I mean, for me, it's like the way it's always been since like year one of all these relationships. I can't with the way she speaks. So I'm sorry if I stutter through this because she doesn't speak like a normal person. And this is like her ranting. So it's like the way it's always been, like since like year one of all of this, relationships change organically. I have organically distanced myself from a person that says dangerous things with their words. They create bad situations for people and harm good people. So for me, I'm like, I don't care who anybody's friends with. I know who my friends are. I know who I'm friends with. And organically, I have beyond myself from that. Oh, I have distance beyond myself from the people that do things that are hurtful for me. If that makes sense to y'all, great. Brittany says, I'm gonna have to clear the air with Bronwyn, Meredith, and Angie. We have some unfinished business. And she was like very sassy about it. Lisa says, how do you clear the air with people who aren't authentic? I've been told I'm sorry so many times. How do you have a conversation with people that don't know who they are? Which is just like, what? Heather ended it as she does with her big old speech as she does. And she says a lot, but basically she said, but I will say for these women, especially last year, there was a moment of absolute trust, absolute confidence, and absolute understanding. It didn't last for long, but it lasted long enough to give me like hope and faith and gratitude to each and every person. When did she become like an inspirational speaker?
It's her books.
Oh, yeah. She's right.
Oh, okay. Speaking of, I'll watch what happens live. What Lisa was saying, Andy asked her if she'd ever read Heather's books, and Lisa was like,
A true
I just read my
narcissist. And I don't love that word, and I feel like it's used so like freely, but I do feel like it is being used correctly with Lisa.
That was a supersized recap. Thank you all so much for listening to another episode of Wonderful Garbage. Follow, like, subscribe, comment wherever you are listening to this. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And then follow us on social media. Until next time, bye.